Okay, so I went ahead and removed the step from one combustion chamber. I'm doing half at a time. So I'll do all the bottom halves and then I'll flip the head and do the top half. This gives you better control when making your blend. So I'm using 3 different size scrapers and I'm very gently just scraping away the aluminum to meet the valve job. So there's a step there that's now removed. As you can see, it's blended all the way into where it cuts into the cylinder head wall or the combustion chamber wall up here. So that right there was a sharp corner, as you can see here, sharp corner. And you got all this step all the way around the combustion chamber, around the valve seat. So the exhaust is not that bad. There still is a little bit of a step, so I did go ahead and blend that all the way in to where the wall is. So now it's a nice smooth flow all the way around here. There's no sharp edges, and pretty much it's an easy transition in and out. So the intake takes a little bit more work. You have to take your time because I don't want to screw this up, so I'm very careful when I'm making my cuts. I have my plugs that I put in there, and then that way it prevents me from going too far in. So this is just going to take a lot of patience, but hopefully it's worth it. I'll get a little bit more flow out of this, and the heads will perform. But I'm really happy with that, the way it came out. As you can see, there's no more step. And it's just very important to get it all the way up against the wall here, because this area right here has very low flow to begin with. So if you can enhance the flow in this area right here, it's very beneficial to the heads and to flowing better. So this is going to take quite a while. I don't want to rush it, so I'm going to do a few tonight and then continue on to the next step. Alright guys, so I'm here the next day, and I've gone ahead and finished one complete cylinder head for just the blending of the valve seat to the combustion chamber. So now there is no more step there. As you can see, there is nothing. It's a smooth transition right into the combustion chamber. That's all taken care of. I also went ahead and deburred around the spark plug hole because there was some sharp aluminum just sticking out there. So I deburred that. That way there's no hot spots. I'm going to go ahead also and profile this a little bit better. The boss that sticks out for the spark plug. But that's not going to be right now. So I took care of this. The next step is going to be taking care of the runners, and then taking care of the throat here, blending this in, and then the final step is going to be, like I said, polishing and taking care of the combustion chamber. So I only can do so much per day. I don't want to rush it. I don't want to screw anything up, so I'm going to take my time doing this. I'll do one stage at a time, and however long it takes me to finish. So between steps, each time I did one valve, I will go ahead and vacuum everything. That way I was keeping my work area clean, and there was no chips and stuff and grinding dust or whatever around my cylinder head to get all dirty and nasty. So I'll go ahead and vacuum it out every single time. Like I said, I was doing half of a valve opening at a time, taking care of half of it. I went all the way across, and then I flipped the cylinder head, and I took care of the other half. You just have better control that way. So this is what I did. I mean, I like the results so far. Now it's just a matter of doing the next cylinder head, and then going to the next stage. Alright guys, just an update. I'm here on a totally different day, and I want to give you guys the rundown of the progress so far. So I've gone ahead and done all the rough blending and rough port matching / gasket matching of the heads, and now I'm ready to do the final finish or final blending of all the runners and the valve job to the combustion chamber and to the bowl. So I'm going to show you guys up close everything so far. So the tool I used for all of this, most of the work I did with this nice small carbide burr. I have two different shapes that I like to use. So I have one that's more elongated and one that's more egg-shaped. Now these work really good because they have the fine flutes, and it takes off a little bit of material, but just enough when you accelerate it with the micro die grinder here. So I prefer these smaller bits because it gives you a lot more control, and it's not hogging out a ton of material and bouncing around with the larger flutes on the larger bits. So these smaller bits are definitely the key. You take off a little bit of material at a time. It's really fine, detailed work. So this tool right here is the key to getting the job down to right. It gives you a lot of finesse and control and detail. And I mean, with this thing hooked up to your air compressor, it pretty much is the ultimate tool. It goes up to 50,000 RPM, and it's very controllable. You can hold this thing like a pencil. Alright, so we'll give you some close-up shots of the blending of the valve job to the combustion chamber and also to the bowl. So there's no more step on either side, and everything is blended in. This took a lot of time. It's very time-consuming. I would say I have at least 10 to 15 hours on just rough blending everything on both heads. So this is going to give you better flow because you don't have a step here, and the air is just going to transition better on the exit and on the entry with the intake valve job here. So competition valve job from K-Tech, which means 5 angle on the intake and 2 angle with radius here on the exhaust. So that's what the valve job looks like. It still has the CNC porting, which I will go ahead and blend in because I want to get rid of that rough cast surface there on the roof. I'm not going to take off a lot of material. I'm going to stay with the contour and the profile of the CNC porting from K-Tech. So these extra little steps of blending really help out a lot, especially right here where it's shrouded. So I'll include a picture in the video or on the clip of what it looks like before. Now, before with the valve job, it was just cut into the side wall here, and there was a lot of material here, a lot of sharp corners, and there was a lot of room for potential. So this right now is de-shrouded, and it allows for better flow because now as the air comes in, it has a lot more room to enter the combustion chamber. So I did that to all the combustion chambers, including the exhaust side. It had the same thing right there, a lot smaller than it did on the intake side. As you can see there, it's a lot more blending that had to be done. But I still have to go ahead and blend in the combustion chamber and polish that and polish the exhaust runner. That will be the very last step. So, very happy. I just took my time and just kind of, did a little bit of work each and every day. I did about probably between 3 and 6 hours of work per day. Like I said, I probably have about 15 hours into it, and I'm not even done. I'm about halfway there, I would say. So that's what it looks like. Let me show you over here what it looks like port matched to the gasket, or gasket matched, whatever you want to call it. So all I did was on the intake side was kind of flare it right into the gasket. So I outlined it in purple Sharpie here, and then I went ahead and did about 1 inch or so into the runner, and I flared it to gasket match perfectly with the intake gasket, the manifold gasket. So all of them are done like that, including the little injector bulge. I went ahead and cut that away as well. I'm going to blend that in. This is still only roughed in with the carbide burr. So we'll go ahead and smooth this all out and do the final finishing on the edge here as well. So I have more room to open this up if I want to. I didn't go all the way out. I still want to be within the O-ring gasket. So let's turn this thing around and show you the exhaust side. As we spin it around, As you can see here, I have a brand new gasket, and I did the same thing. I traced out the shape of the gasket, installed my bolts, that way it lines everything up, and then went ahead and opened this up and flared it. I did not go in that far, and I did not touch the floor on the exhaust. It's the opposite on the intake. You want to not touch the roof and blend in the floor. So very important, do not touch the bottom of this exhaust where the flat spot is. I'm just gonna blend that in and give it a final finish. But it is port matched or gasket matched to the gasket, and I still can open this up a little bit more. It's gonna increase flow and give me good results, especially with my stage 4 cam, ported blower, and obviously ported heads. So going for a max effort build on this car, and ultimately I want it to be reliable and have a ton of power, and I just want to have fun with it. So really good job here, I believe, with this hand porting of the cylinder heads. I know this stuff takes a lot of time and effort. By the time I'm done, I'm probably going to have at least 30 hours or more into just hand blending the valve job and all the runners together. So hopefully it's worth it. I just want to give you guys an update. I'm going to go ahead now and do the final finishing, and I'll show you some clips of that in progress and finish up the video.